The amazing thing really about Waterloo Farm is that we have this site that during the latest Devonian was within the Antarctic Circle, and we have this huge range of fishes, plants, invertebrates, in fact a picture of a whole estuarine ecosystem, and that's unique because all other latest Devonian sites are from the tropical areas. And so I was really excited when I was working on these fossils to find these various Clythra, two actually, of different Devonian tetrapods, because Devonian tetrapods were otherwise only known from lakes and lagoons which were in tropical waters during the Devonian. And that's why I actually invited Per to come over from Scandinavia, because he is one of, or the most leading current researcher on late Devonian tetrapods, which are of course the ancestors of all four-legged beasts, including ourselves.
All right, yeah. So the origin of tetrapods, or vertebrates with arms and legs rather than paired fins, is one of the really big events that happened during what we call the Devonian period. Here we are at about 360 million years ago, and tetrapods have already originated. They've been around for a little while, but until now all the evidence we've had from this has been from what were then the tropics. Here we are right down in the Antarctic Circle. You can imagine the aurora playing overhead in the evenings as these things are swimming around in this estuary. How can we tell that this is a tetrapod? It's just one bone and, you know, we haven't got a limb or anything. The answer is that when you turn the fins into limbs, as you might imagine, if you think about it, a limb works very differently compared to a fin, and that means you have to rearrange the muscles and all sorts of stuff. You have to rebuild not just the limb itself, but also the shoulder girdle that it attaches to. So the shape and character of the bones in the shoulder girdle changes at this time. And what you have here, this blade-like bone, this would have formed the top of the shoulder girdle. It's a bone called the Clythra. We don't have one of these anymore. If you look at a frog, it's got one. But, you know, the bit of the shoulder girdle that we still have attaches down here. Now, if this had been a fish, this bone would have had a great big bottom end like this, and on the inside of that would have sat another bit of the girdle, what you call the scapulocoracoid. That's a mouthful, but it's basically the bit of the shoulder girdle that we have, all right? Here, this bone tapers to a point. There's no big plate down here, and instead what would have sat down here is a very large triangular scapulocoracoid, and about here the attachment for the actual arm to come out. So this is a pretty typical organisation for a really early tetrapod, really early limbed vertebrate, and in fact it's kind of on the way towards the sort of anatomy that we have in our own arm. So we're not just getting a glimpse here of a corner of the world that we knew nothing about until the discovery of the Waterloo Farm site. We're also getting an insight into the really early evolution of our own body plan 360 million years ago.